Welcome back, the first episode for 2026. I'm so excited to be here. I've had a great few weeks off. I've spent time away camping with my family. I've eaten too much, drunk too much, laid around too much, but I'm excited to be back and in your ears with our first episode for 2026. Now, this episode is based and inspired off of our mastermind group coaching call yesterday with my beautiful mastermind clients, where we were going through our very first session for the year, mapping out our goals for the year as not just goals, but also intentions, the type of leader and CEO we want to be this year. And something that came up was the fact that we are not our business. Our self-worth, our identity, our success isn't only just tied to our business. Our business is only just one small part of our life and our personality and what we do and how we spend our time. And it's really important that we acknowledge that and separate as much as possible, because when times are tough, we don't want to then spiral into a place where we are beating ourselves up and saying it must be us, I must be doing something wrong, maybe I'm not young enough, pretty enough, skinny enough, whatever it might be, right? So today I'm going to break down exactly what I mean by you are not your business, and also give you some tips and tricks around setting boundaries and creating separation so that your self-worth isn't tied up to what your daily sales are doing. All right, let's get started. Hi, welcome to the Online Store Success Podcast. I'm your host, Jody Minto, an e-commerce coach and meta ads specialist. Each week, I share with you practical strategies to help you grow a profitable online store that runs in school hours and supports your lifestyle. Let's get into it. I get it. You love your business. You've poured so much time, energy, heart, blood, sweat and tears, and probably a whole lot of money into launching and birthing this business that you now have. I totally understand and appreciate that. You care deeply about the impact it makes, the products you offer, that whether or not your customers are happy, and hopefully that other people around you see how hard you're working. I get it. This is exactly me. However, after 4 businesses over 15, 20 years, I can now tell you it's so important to have a level of separation between you and your business. We were talking about this on our mastermind coaching call yesterday because it is something that everyone suffers from. Entrepreneurs, even business people, where we tie everything about our self-worth and our success into how well we're doing in this one thing. So I want to unpack that some more today, because this is a lived experience for me. And I feel like over the last 12 months, I've come out the other side of it, and maybe it's because I'm older and wiser. I don't know. Maybe because I've had a number of businesses, maybe because I've walked away from a business, and a number of businesses I've walked away for, and then I've sold a business and I've been left questioning, who even am I without this business? What will people even know me for? So I've had that experience, and I want to just, I suppose, make you aware of the fact that you are a separate entity to your business and how you can set some really clear boundaries around it. So I want you to think about the last time you looked at your Shopify app, particularly if sales were not going well. I know from personal experience, if sales were going well and I was hearing those cha-chings, I was on a complete high. Dopamine was kicking in. I was on top of the world. I'm making plans for the next big thing. However, the following day when sales dipped, I would be so stressed out. I'd be so exhausted. I'd be watching that Shopify app like a hawk. I'd be watching people adding things to cart and then seeing them abandon the cart and stressing and wondering what of it is it that I've done wrong. And for me, even just that smashed my adrenals, it smashed my nervous system, and it certainly didn't make me love my business that much. Now, people I know are in the same boat. I've obviously been working and coaching with people for nearly 9 years now. And apart from my lived experience, I'm living alongside of theirs. And people, when things don't go well, start to point the finger at themselves and say things like, I must not be smart enough. I must have not great products. I must be too expensive. There must be too much competition. And a whole list of other negative stories that we start to tell ourselves. And if our business isn't going well, we generally don't feel that great about ourselves. So this particular mindset is really common, particularly if you care about your business, the impact that it has on the world, and what your customers and other people think of you. So in saying that, I want to really emphasize why healthy detachment is so important, because our businesses are investments. They are assets, they are jobs, they are careers. They are not our entire being. But for so many founders, especially in e-commerce, especially if you're a creative or a designer, the lines get really blurry and our businesses start to feel like an extension of us, which means when something isn't working, it hits really, really deeply and we start to spiral. We start to question ourselves and all of those different things. We start sometimes making excuses and it's just not a great headspace to be in. And this starts to make us think that maybe we're not good enough, maybe we need to change something, or maybe we need to go back to our day job. This level of entanglement can really cloud our judgment, and it can cause us to make decisions that are not really great business decisions or decisions that are good for us. We often get sucked into that dopamine high of when things were good and we'll do anything to get back to that point, even if it means really risky or not great financial decisions. So if you find yourself on this roller coaster of adrenaline, when things go up, you're on the top of the world. When things are down, you're hating yourself. I want you to stop and just acknowledge it. And what I'm going to do is give you some strategies and tips around trying to create that level of separation, because when we get clearer on the fact that our business is a separate entity to us, it's an asset, it's also a job, and it's not all encompassing and it doesn't define us, that's when you can start to really become a CEO in your business and not just a creator, a doer, or someone looking for that validation that they're successful to someone that might be looking in on your business, even though you're staying up at night unable to sleep because there's a next load of bills coming in, or that Meta ads a swipe of your credit card is happening tomorrow. That's when we start to really shift, when we start to really acknowledge that this business is a job, it's an asset, yes, but if you went and bought an investment property, you're not going to be laying there at night with the same level of stress as you are with a product-based business. So what does separation look like in practice? Because it's not just about mindset, it's about putting in some real boundaries between you and your business so you can lead it more clearly and sustainably. So here's some tips from me on what that can look like on a day-to-day basis. We need to detach your self-worth from your sales dashboard. Revenue is a number, it's your sales number, and it ebbs and flows depending on what time of year it is, whether you've just released new products, whether you're having some sort of sale, or what the broader market is doing in economy at any given time. It's not a reflection of your value as a human being. Remember that. Your revenue number is not a reflection of your value as a human being. It doesn't consider all of the other pieces of the puzzle that you are outside of your business. So just remember that. Look at your data through an analytical, numbers-based lens and try and strip out the emotion and the attachment. This is a big one that I should have done much sooner, but get rid of the Shopify app off your mobile phone. Or at best, turn off the notifications. If you're finding yourself scrolling through it on a weekend or at night when you should be switching off, enjoying time with family or friends, and you're tracking people adding to cart like I used to and watching it in real time, it is going to break your nervous system. It is like a constant dopamine hit or drop, depending on what's happening, and it's going to keep you hooked like any social media app or anything like that, and not in a good way. So if looking at your Shopify app constantly is a problem for you, I want you to get rid of it. Get rid of the notifications, get rid of the app entirely, and make it a practice that you will check your analytics and your sales and your dashboard in Shopify in business hours only from your computer. And even that, check it once a week or once every fortnight. You don't need to be in there checking it with a fine-tooth comb every single day. Then I want you to create business hours for you and your business. If you find that you're up feeding the baby in the middle of the night and also simultaneously checking the results of your meta ads, that's not a great place to be. You are probably missing so much of life and even just the opportunity to rest. And so I want you to create business hours for your business, which would be similar to if you were working down the road at a coffee shop or a supermarket or in an office, right? You do not need to be checking your emails, your meta ad results, anything, your Shopify app in the middle of the night or outside of business hours. Your brain and your nervous system really just needs a break from it. If you can also create a separation in the physical sense from your workspace, if you work from home, I also highly encourage that. If you can have a little room, an office, a spare room where you can close the door at 5 o'clock every day, I definitely recommend you do that. If you are an empty nester or don't have children or a partner and have the tendency to overwork, and if there's 24 hours in the day, you fill it with work, I want you to find a way where you can create boundaries or bookends, as I like to call them, in your day so that your work does not bleed through the entirety of your week. Because I've seen this happen and it's not a great result. You end up burnt out, exhausted, and literally collapsing in a heap. So if you don't have a necessary reason to stop working at the end of the day, like going and picking up kids, I want you to create one, whether that is going out for a walk at 4:30 every afternoon, that's it, computer off, I'm out the door with my dog, or whether it's joining a local exercise class, an art class, whatever it is. Find something to create that bookend around your work hours so that you're not working constantly and feel like you're never getting a break. Your brain and your nervous system needs a break. Now, when it comes to reading our numbers, I want you to really practice at looking at them through the lens of a data analyst. You are looking at them without any emotion attached. We're looking and going, right, okay, so we spent that much on this ad and this campaign and it got us this result and that's too expensive, so I'm going to turn it off and we're going to try another one. I do not want you to look at it with emotion attached where you're then going, oh, this is my products, it's too expensive, there's too much competition, the economy's gone to poo. Like, don't make stories about it. We're looking at it through numbers, not emotions. We're not attaching meaning to what it might be. We are just looking at the numbers and making our decisions around that. And finally, I want you to prioritize your life outside of your business. I want you to book that holiday. I've just had about 3 weeks off, and a lot of my mastermind clients said that they worked through the entire thing, and I'm saying no. You do not need to do that. We have started these businesses for freedom and flexibility in order to enjoy life more. I do not want you to now be working 7 days a week, 12 hours a day or more because you have your own business and you feel like you should. No. Often the best ideas and the clarity comes when we are away from our business. I know for me, it's when I'm on an airplane or I'm in another country where I'm not being distracted by life and housework and admin, right? We need to make sure that we're prioritizing life outside of your business and what that looks like on a day-to-day basis as well as an annual basis. Book those holidays. There's always a way to take a break from your holiday, even if that means putting up a thing on your website saying, you know what, I'm off for the week. We'll ship orders after this date. You deserve a break. If you were working in a job, you would get 4 weeks annual leave a year. In Australia, make sure you give yourself that break. Okay, I hope this episode was helpful to you, if you're feeling a bit uneasy about different things. And I hope that this year is the year where you are going to start treating your business as if it's a job and not your entire being. If you need help implementing these types of strategies and systems and need support in both your business and in your mindset, be sure to check out my mastermind. My mastermind is a small group intimate coaching program that couples one-on-one coaching with me, as well as weekly small group coaching. And this year we are very excited that we have a specialized mindset coach joining us every single month starting February. We also have, of course, all of the other things, the data analysis, the ads analysis, the learnings, the trainings, all of the digital marketing and business strategy. But we also now have the added element of mindset, because your mindset is so, so important. Anyway, enough about that. I cannot wait to share another episode with you next week. Happy New Year, and talk to you very soon. Bye for now. Thanks so much for listening to this episode of Online Store Success with me, Jody Minto. If you loved it, please share it with your friends on Instagram and tag me at @IamJodyMinto so I can say thank you. And if you really want to make my day, please go ahead and leave me a review on Apple Podcasts and give me a follow. If you'd like my help in starting or scaling your online store, be sure to check out my free resources and programs at jodyminto.com. Thanks again, and same time, same place next week. Bye for now.